Those people out there to tell you that you can make a bunch of money by sitting on your can, relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink. Bullcrap.
Welcome to the Amplified Expert Podcast. Your business, your life, loud and clear. Make more money, get more clients, and spread your message faster so you can live the life that is true to who you really are. And now, your amplified host, David Jalen.
Hello to all you amplified experts out there, and those of you who are on the way to becoming an amplified expert. This is David Jalen, and I am so pleased to be back with you again, you and me, hanging out, talking about how to make this life much more fun, business much more profitable, and just get a little crazy from time to time. That's what we're all about here, and I am happy you're back, because this is part two. This is part two. This is Amplified Expert number 15, I believe. Last episode, which was about last week, I talked with you about a couple of things. I said something a little controversial. I said that marketing is overrated, and I stand by that. And that seemed to ruffle a few feathers, which I don't mind. It's okay. I stand by it though. Again, as I mentioned, I won't spend time on it now, but marketing is important, extremely important. But if you don't have the key essential foundational pieces in place first, it is the old proverbial cart before the horse thing. So we dug into that, and I told you that I would share with you the number one key to success and fulfillment in your business, the key to getting more clients, to leveraging your efforts, reaching more people, selling more of your stuff. And I told you that it was to become an amplified expert, unashamedly become an amplified expert. Talked about the what. So I explained in detail what an amplified expert is, and I gave you what I thought were some pretty compelling reasons why you should consider becoming one if you aren't already, or becoming a more amplified expert. So if you didn't catch all that, you might want to grab the last episode. It's short, 20 some odd minutes, and that will get you all caught up. Because what I want to do now is I want to get right into it. I want to explain to you how to become an amplified expert. Okay, so we actually know there are 6 steps, and there's a little bit of breakdown among some of the steps, but I'm going to dig right into it and waste no more time at all. Okay, so the first step is to discover and define your one burning thing, and to embrace that baby. So what do I mean by one burning thing? I mentioned it last episode a little bit, and really, you could consider it your big why, okay? Your why statement, why you do what you do, what just burns inside of you. What do you have to say? What do you have to share? What do you have to do? Who do you have to connect with? What drives you in this life? I don't care if you're religious, you're not religious. It doesn't make any difference, okay? None whatsoever. Because I believe, unless you're just close to death, that just about every living person on this planet is being driven by desire to fulfill something while they're here. Again, whether you think you go on to life after life, or whether you think it all ends here, we're all driven to that. So you have to know what that is. And chances are you already have a pretty good idea. But here's the thing. So it may not be so much that you have to define it, because again, you may have a strong idea what it is, but it's time for you to embrace it. Okay? This is the key to becoming an amplified expert, is to not separate it from what you do day to day, to not separate it from your business, to not separate it from your marketing, to not separate it from your communication with the people you are here to serve. That's the main difference. And kind of a key piece of that is, what do you stand for? And I mentioned this last episode. What do you stand for? And again, it could be lots of different things. It could be you stand for green energy on the planet and getting rid of fossil fuel eventually. It could mean that you stand for the empowerment of women and young girls everywhere. You know what it is. But as I said last episode, and I will underline it again, the key, though, is to also understand what you stand against and be willing to to stand up so powerfully for what you stand for that you're willing to stand against the naysayers. Okay, that is what makes you compelling. That is what makes you strong. That also makes you divisive at times, and you have to be willing to embrace that. Okay, and the last part of this first step about defining your one burning thing is you have to define and understand who you serve. Who is it the people that resonate most with what you stand for? Your big why, your one burning thing. Who is it? Because when you know who it is, you have to be really clear about their biggest problems. You know, what pains them in life? What do they want to overcome? And you have to, of course, know what inspires them. What are their big dreams? That is the place you connect from. Okay? So that's step one. Step two is to decide on the business model. Decide on the business model. Okay. Now, some of you listening may not have your own business. You still have to decide on the model, the vehicle. You can look at it as the vehicle if you want. That helps you to empower your one burning thing. Helps you propel your one burning thing. Okay, and allows you to support the lifestyle you want. This is key. Now, I have an exercise called the Perfect Day. I'm not the only one that's done this, but I've done my own version of it. It's available to you, and basically what it is, it's a visualization, a meditation of sorts that takes you through what your perfect day is like, okay, and then allows you to go ahead and write down key understandings, key realizations about it. And here's the important thing, and again, I don't want to spend too much time on these, but here's the important thing to understand about it, is that your business model must support not only your one burning thing, but the lifestyle you want as part of your one burning thing. Okay? And here, it's just a simple example. Do you have a desire to solely support yourself as a public speaker? Well, then be ready to be on the road, 250 to 300 days a year. Now, if staying with your family and if you have young kids are important to you, if that's part of your life, and you don't think that through, well, you might be looking for a big goal to fulfill as your business model, as again, in this example, as a public speaker, that may not support the lifestyle you want, may not allow you to be at home with your children. So make sure those match up. Okay, step number 3 is to design your simple machine. Remember back in school, you had the class the simple machines class that talked about inclined planes and pulleys and levers and all that kind of stuff. Well, you've got to design your own simple machine that allows your business model to work effectively. Okay, and so you can look at this as the systems within your business that will leverage your efforts. This is key to becoming an amplified expert. A lot of people don't have defined systems or any real systems at all in their business, and they suffer for it. Okay, I don't care how good you are, how talented you are, you have to put in the right systems that allow you to leverage what you do so that every effort you make, it comes from a place of strength within you, and it's magnified. Okay, and there's a lot of different systems, right? We're not going to dig into all of them. There's marketing, there's sales, there's fulfillment systems, there's customer service, there's accounting systems, operations. Now, don't get overwhelmed by all this, okay? You don't have to tackle it all at once. Okay, so you do the bare minimum needed, and then you start digging in. And as you're building your business, marketing systems are important, right? Like marketing campaigns are important because again, many of you may be making much of your living, or maybe even all of your living, exchanging your one-on-one time with someone else, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as you already know, that's not highly leverageable, right? Okay, so it is by instilling. And some people call them marketing funnels. It's different terminology, but basically, you're implementing a system that allows you to communicate, at least partially automated, with the people who are interested in what you do, and it takes them through a process of engagement, of nurturing, of leading to purchasing your products. Okay, so that's a really important part of it, and again, it allows you to focus on your core strengths. So, and the key here is, this is the important thing to remember, this is what makes you an amplified expert, is not to just have systems, okay, but is to inject who you are, Okay, back in step one, your one burning thing, what you stand for, your big why. You need to inject that into the communications that you have. Really important. Okay, step 4 is to implement positive constraints. I'll have to see if I come up with a better word than constraints. Although that is the true definition. Because a lot of people, when you hear that, it kind of has a negative connotation to it, But here's the bottom line. And, I know I can say this, and you might be able to say this as well. And that is that I am my own worst enemy. I get in my way all the time. I am the biggest reason why I don't get done some of the things I want to get done. And that is why constraints are so important. And I have to tell you, this is something I've struggled with. I've gotten a lot better at it, but I still have a ways to go. Because again, many of you know I'm kind of a shoot from the hip sort of guy, okay? And people like me with personalities like mine often don't like the idea of too much structure. But it's important. It's really important. And here's the biggest enlightening moment for me around this subject was, as I really began to work with other successful people in my industry and related industries, I noticed that they all do this. They all implement constraints, okay, that allow them to not be their own worst enemy, to get the things done they need to get done. I mean, I'm sure you've heard Parkinson's law, right? That work expands so that it fills the time available, right? And it's a human thing. We all kind of do that. But it hurts us. It keeps us mediocre. It keeps us from getting big things done. Okay? So, the thing is, and this is another key observation I made, is that we all have limited power to make decisions. Okay? We all get up, after a night's rest with kind of look at it as a battery. You have a battery pack on. And your battery's charged. You maybe should look at the battery of your cell phone or your laptop, whatever. And, every decision that you and I make, it starts to drain that battery. It starts to make it less effective. And after a while, the battery dies, right? And the problem is that when we reserve that energy for making too many foolish decisions, and not even foolish, let me rephrase that. They don't have to be foolish. They could just be not highly important decisions. Okay, like, I don't know, the clothes we're going to wear today, or figuring out what food we're going to eat every day. We should be reserving our limited amount of power to make decisions for the big decisions. Okay, the decisions that make the most impact in our lives, make the most impact in our business. Okay, that's really, really key. I've got a sign up in my office that says, it's either hell yes or no. Okay, to remind me, when I am making a decision about whether to engage with or interact with a certain person, or whether to take on a new initiative or new project, it better be hell yes for me, or I really need to say no. Okay, a big part of making this happen is to create a strict schedule, and particularly in the morning. Nobody wants to feel like they're in the military every day, right? So that's why I don't really do this all day long. But I certainly do it for the morning hours, And you probably heard, a lot of successful people talk about their morning routines. I think there's a real correlation to starting early in the day. There are exceptions. There are some people out there who tend to do their best work at night and they make it work for themselves. And that's totally cool. So you have to find out what works best for you. I know for me, I've slowly moved my schedule to earlier and earlier in the morning, and I certainly do not start with email anymore. Email is a killer of your time, and you probably know that, okay? It's hard, though. It's a hard habit to break. So I like to start with meditation. I like to reflect on what I'm going to accomplish that day, make sure it's aligned with my one burning thing. And then I like to get into some exercise. I like to do a nice workout. I do intense workouts, but they're only about 30-35 minutes. And I shower, then I get then the kids get up and I get them ready for school. So, and then what that does is right after I get them off to school, it gives me a couple of blocks of time. Because here's the thing about that. There are studies out there that will say you and I, we really only have like 2 to 4 hours of highly intensive, productive hours. Sometimes I think we think about, well, I've got 8, 9, 10 hours. No, we really only have 2 to 4 really productive hours. And that time frame, after I get the kids off to school, is my productive time. I rarely schedule any kind of appointments during that time frame. That is my get big things done time. Okay? And before I leave point number 4, there's an idea that I posted about this a while ago. It's called disciplined urgency. Okay, disciplined urgency. And this helps with this idea of constraints and with getting things done in the limited amount of time that we have, is I want you to feel urgent. Sometimes we can be too positive, I think. Sometimes, we all just want to feel good and be happy and get along. Problem is, though, sometimes with that kind of approach, we get too comfortable. We get too relaxed. Everything's going to be okay. Sometimes you got to inject a little bit of angst into this, and disciplined urgency is a great way to say, you know what, I've only got so much time. It even pays sometimes to get a little negative, to say, wow, I wonder how many days I have left on this earth. We're not guaranteed more than today, right? But, if we go with the averages, even if you go with the averages, the number starts getting pretty darn small, and that's okay, because that will help you feel more urgent about getting this stuff done. Okay? Step number 5 is to surround yourself with people better than you. And sometimes this is kind of hard for us to embrace it. It has been for me over the years. I've gotten better about it, Sometimes I think we let our egos get involved. And sometimes it's easier to surround ourselves with people that we're a few steps ahead of, right? Kind of makes us feel better. Like I said, it gives us that little ego pat. But the truth is that we get better. How do you get better as a tennis player? As if I'm a tennis player, so I would know. But, okay, name any sport, any skill you want to name. How do you get better? You get better by working with the people that are kicking your can, right? You can get better with the people who are, working you all over that court, mopping you up. That's how you get better, not by, beating up on somebody who's, back behind you somewhere. That's not the way to do it. So surround yourself with people better than you. Seek and connect with mentors who have achieved something similar to what you want. So you go back to your vision, your one burning thing, what your business model is that supports that, what it is you want to accomplish, and seek out the people who've done that, and embrace them. Now, I'll just be very, very honest with you and point blank with you, Sometimes to get someone to be your mentor, you got to pay them. Doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you make great connections with people. But I'm just saying, a lot of times you have to buy into their program so they know you're serious, that you do connect with them. So you get past sort of the tire kickers in their lives, right? The people that are sucking up their time. So, but identify those people, and really go after them, really learn from them, embrace their work. Okay? But here's the key thing. Here's the key thing I want you to recognize as you go down this path of seeking out mentors and people that are a few steps ahead of you. Respect them. Okay? You certainly want to respect them, because if you don't, then you won't make a connection with them. But don't idolize them. Okay? Don't suck up to them. There's a difference, okay? And I would tell you that a lot of the big players out there, they can sniff it out when somebody's sucking up to them, and they don't like it. They don't like it at all. So know the difference. A lot of respect, but don't idolize. You must believe that you can be where they are too. You have the ability. You're just a few steps behind. You're learning. But you could be there too, and you will be there. Okay? So this idea of surrounding yourself with people better than you, it applies to the people you work with too. Whether you're hiring people or you're just doing some joint ventures with someone, seek out people again that are strong. Yeah, they might even intimidate you a little bit, and that is okay as long as you're aligned. Your goals are aligned. You can work together. It's okay if they intimidate you some. You should complement each other. So you're allowed to stay in your strengths. They can stay in their strengths, but you learn from each other. You grow with each other. All right. Now, as the next step in this process of surrounding yourself with people better than you is to create a close group that holds you accountable. Now, you could call us a mastermind if you want. I tend to use that term, but I don't really care what you call it. But the key word here is accountable. This is a very, very important piece of becoming an amplified expert, of really separating yourself from the crowd, is to be willing to be accountable and be publicly accountable for what you say you want to do, for what you say you're going to do, for being honest when you don't do it. Being publicly accountable is one of the most important aspects of getting where you want to go in life, period. Okay, so do not gloss over that part. I even love in some mastermind groups that the members, they state what they will be accountable for. When they don't reach their goals, they've got to pay money. Whether it's to a charity, sometimes it's to a charity they don't like, which makes it even more of a carrot in front of them to reach their goal. So do that. Find, it's actually not that hard. Now, again, there are masterminds you can pay into, and that's not a bad thing. You can really get in touch with, again, back to those few, people who are a few steps ahead of you. You can really get in with them at some of their mastermind groups, and it will be invaluable to you. But you don't have to. I mean, you can also just, again, find really good, smart, motivated people to join up with, whether it's 3, 4, 5 people, and connect with them, form that group. You could do it. And if you don't have that going on already, do it. If you have it going on but the group's not working for you, move on to a new group. All right, step 6. Before I share with you step 6, let's quickly go over the first 5 steps. Okay, the first step was to discover, define, and embrace your one burning thing. Okay, to really know your why and to know what you stand for. Be willing to stand against those who don't like what you stand for. Step 2 was to decide on the business model that empowers your one burning thing and helps support the lifestyle that you want. So it propels your mission forward. Okay, step 3 was to design your simple machine, to put the systems in place. And this is really, really important. And people, if you're like me and you're not inherently a systems person, you may struggle with this. But you must do it. You have to push through it. You have to do it. Bring people on that can help you. Create the systems in your business that allow you to leverage your efforts. Leverage your efforts. And make sure you inject who you are in all your communications. Okay, step 4, implement positive constraints. Because we are in fact our own worst enemy. Okay, so just understand that and again, this is a tough one. I am not going to sit here and act like this is easy for me. I have fought through this. And I've gotten better at it each step of the way. And that is creating a strict schedule that I stick to that allows me to get more done in a matter of a couple hours than most people get done all day and sometimes during several days' time. Okay? Use discipline, urgency to push through to make this happen. Okay, step 5 was to surround yourself with people better than you. People better than you, okay? And that is, again, seeking out mentors, seeking out people who are influencers in your industry that you can connect with, that you can learn from, that, again, and if you do this coming from a place of a genuine heart of wanting to help, wanting truly to connect, you'll connect with some amazing people that help you propel your business. But make sure that you're accountable. Make sure you're accountable, whether that is in some kind of a high-level mentor group or just a smaller mastermind group. Be accountable for what you say you're going to do. All right, you ready for step 6? Here we go. It is to leave it all on the stage, baby. Leave it all on the stage. Okay? Action. Action is a constant must. Action. Again, all the successful people I know, and it goes back to the constraints that they create, okay? And having that one burning thing that drives them to use those constraints wisely, they take action. Constant action. Those people out there to tell you that you're going to you can make a bunch of money by sitting on your can, relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink, bullcrap, okay? You know it's bullcrap. And here's the thing about it. Even if you could create a business like that, if you're being driven by your one burning thing and you just want to reach more people, you want to share with more people, you want to connect with more people, you want to leave a legacy, you want to be a legend, the last thing you're going to want to do is find a bunch of ways to lay around a lot more. It's just not going to happen, okay? And the successful people I know don't do that. Okay, sure, they have their downtime, they know how to have fun, but they are constantly taking action on the big things they want to get done. I love the idea of firing, aiming. Fire, then aim, okay? Assess what you do, adjust as necessary, but keep going. Because you know what? you have to be willing to embrace failing. I know it's a tough one. And I have a hard time with this too. I want everything to be so good, to be perfect. But that's what keeps you and I from getting big things done. We have to be willing to fail and say, oh well. Now, that doesn't mean that you just quickly and you're roughshod, you run through creating products or not at all, okay? You're going to put in great effort. You're going to do your due diligence. You're going to put together programs that that are there to serve and that are there to help. But you have to be willing to say, you know what? It may not work. It may not work. And another part of embracing failing is to embrace the unknown. Okay? Embrace the unknown. You and I, again, as humans, we kind of want to know what's going on, right? And we kind of want to know what's coming next. We kind of want to know how much money we're making every month. We kind of want to know how people are going to react to something we're creating. But it doesn't work. Okay? As someone who's out there propelling your one burning thing forward in this universe, you have to be willing to embrace the unknown. Create a habit of getting out of your comfort zone. Okay? That's a big one. You and I get so comfortable. I don't care whether that's, taking a different route than you usually take. I don't care if that's, doing your work in a different place than you usually do. I don't care if that's making, 5 cold calls today, that you really hate doing. I don't care what it is. It's good to constantly get out of your comfort zone. And sometimes we need to reflect and say, am I too comfortable? What do I need to do to shake things up? All right, the next part of this, of leaving it all on the stage, is to get that place where you just don't care anymore. And by don't care anymore, I certainly don't mean that you don't care about why you're here and who you're serving. Quite the opposite. But what I mean is your one burning thing, what you stand for, is so damn important to you that you no longer care about how the people you're not meant to serve, how they perceive you. You don't care what they say. You don't care if you look like a fool. You don't care if the current project you're on happens to fail, because you're not going to be stopped. You're ready to continue on. You're going to keep firing and aiming. You're going to take consistent action because you're being driven by your one burning thing. You don't care anymore, as Phil Collins once said. Okay. Now, before we wrap this up, it wouldn't be fair for me not to bring this up, because I know, this is not a health program, right? But this is important, okay? I'm a little bit of a health nut. I'll have to admit. Some of you know that. Staying healthy is important in all this, okay? It gives you the energy you need to propel your mission forward. Your one burning thing the fire needs to be stoked, okay? So I'm not going to do a whole course on staying healthy here, but you already know what to do, right? You really do, okay? Less sugar, less processed crap, a lot more fresh food, and move your body. And really, there you go. I've summed up good health for you in a matter of seconds, okay? Move your body. And you got to find one that is for you. Like I said, for me, it's easier first thing in the morning, because as the day goes on, there's too many reasons why I don't do it, right? There's too many other things competing for my time and attention. Okay? So, keep yourself healthy so you have the energy to fulfill your mission. And I want to kind of wrap this up with one of my favorite quotes from George Bernard Shaw. And he once said, I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. I love it. I love it. That's not a negative thing to me at all. Be used up. I want to read the whole thing here. It's not that long, but it's so powerful, okay? So here's George Bernard Shaw. This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. Being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live it, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is sort of a splendid torch which I have a hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it over to future generations. Is that not beautiful or what? All right, so there are the 6 steps to becoming an amplified expert. And if that speaks to you, let me know. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you love about it, what you don't like about it. I want to hear your questions. Share them with me. As I mentioned to you during the last episode, a new creation of mine has been I've created campaigns that I have used in my own company and for other clients' companies. And I put 5 of them together on some infographics, and I want to give them to you for free. Okay, these are marketing campaigns. There are a couple in there for moving a book to a high-end offer. There's one on there to create more one-on-one clients. There's one on there that will help promote a webinar that also has an upsell. There's another on there that allows you to ask your prospects to take a survey and still offers them something that one of your products that you have to offer. So they're powerful campaigns. I think you'll find them very helpful, and they are free. You simply need to go to davidjalen.com/5, that's the number 5 campaigns, davidjalen.com/5 campaigns. You can get them right there. I am just honored to be with you again. Really, I know your time is valuable. I thank you for sharing your time with me today. And until next time, live amplified.
Thanks for listening to the Amplified Expert Podcast. Find the archives for this show at davidjalen.com/podcast or on iTunes. Contact David at davidjalen.com and remember to live amplified. Amplified.